Why does Earth feel like it was perfectly tuned for life? Even the smallest change in its conditions, and we might never exist. To help you understand, I'm going to jump off a spacecraft and explore other planets in our solar system. Then you'll see it almost feels like the universe gave Earth a secret advantage. First stop, Mercury. From space, it looks like the moon, but up close, it's a nightmare. The moment I land, I don't feel heat, I feel burning. There's almost no atmosphere here, no filter. Sunlight slams directly onto the surface. If I land on the sunlit side, the temperature can reach 420 degrees Celsius. This isn't just hot, it's like standing inside an oven. Even lead would melt. But heat isn't the only problem. There's almost no air, basically a vacuum. I can't breathe. There's nothing to protect me from solar radiation. Ultraviolet rays hit my skin instantly. Any exposed part of my body would burn and blister within seconds. I look up, it's daytime, but the sky is still completely black. Why? Because there's no atmosphere to scatter sunlight. Even the shadows here are unnaturally sharp and pitch dark, and this is just the beginning. Seconds later, the real danger begins. The moisture in my tongue, my eyes, even inside my lungs, starts to evaporate rapidly. The cooling system in my spacesuit can't handle this level of exposure. It feels like I've been thrown into a vacuum oven, burning on the outside and collapsing from within. I try to breathe, but there's nothing to inhale. My vision fades to white. My consciousness starts drifting. In about 10 seconds, I'm down. And if I think escaping to the dark side will save me, I'm wrong. There, without sunlight, temperatures drop to nearly minus 180 degrees Celsius. Same planet. One side roasts me alive, the other freezes me to death. This is Mercury. You might say, why not choose a planet with an atmosphere? All right, let's try that. Next stop, Venus. But the moment I arrive, I realize something. This isn't like hell. Venus is hell. As I fall through its thick clouds, everything around me turns a murky orange. The atmosphere is insanely dense. The pressure here is about 92 times that of Earth. It's so heavy. It feels like the air itself is crushing me. It feels like I've been instantly pushed thousands of meters deep under the ocean. The air here is almost entirely carbon dioxide mixed with sulfuric acid. Every breath would be toxic if I could even breathe. And the surface temperature, around 467 degrees Celsius. What's terrifying is Venus is farther from the sun than Mercury, yet somehow it's even hotter. The ground is getting closer, but I don't feel any sense of landing safely. Instead, it feels like I'm falling into a massive pressure cooker, glowing red from the heat. The moment I touch down, pressure hits first. My lungs, my sinuses, my ears, every air-filled space gets violently crushed. Then comes the heat, and the toxic atmosphere finishes the rest. I'm not just being burned, I'm not just being suffocated. My entire body is collapsing, inside and out, at the same time. Even the metal around me would start glowing a dull red under this temperature. People often talk about acid rain on Venus, but the truth is, I'd never even feel it. The acid droplets evaporate long before they reach the surface, so no. I wouldn't die in the rain. I'd lose consciousness just moments after landing. Smart choice. You're probably thinking of Mars next. Compared to Mercury and Venus, it doesn't look that terrifying. There's ground, there's sky. The colors aren't as extreme, almost Earth-like, but that's exactly what makes it dangerous. Mars can trick you. The average temperature here is around minus 60 degrees Celsius. The moment I step onto the surface, I don't feel burning or crushing pressure. I feel something worse. My breathing just stops working. The atmosphere is so thin, it's almost like there's no air at all, and oxygen barely exists. I open my mouth, but there's nothing to inhale. Within seconds, oxygen deprivation takes over. My vision starts going dark. My mind begins to drift. The low pressure causes the moisture in my lungs and mouth to slowly evaporate. I don't explode like in the movies, but I fade out fast. In about 15 to 20 seconds, I collapse. And not long after that, I die quietly on this silent red desert. That's what makes Mars truly terrifying. Not how deadly it looks, but how survivable it seems. If the first 3 planets let me stand for a moment before dying, Jupiter doesn't even offer me that. The second I jump in, I realize something terrifying. There is no ground. From space, Jupiter looks beautiful. Orange, white, and red bands twist across the planet like giant brushstrokes. But those stripes are only cloud tops. As I fall, I'm not landing. I'm sinking deeper into an endless atmosphere. For the first few seconds, it almost feels peaceful. The clouds swirl beneath me like a living ocean. For one brief moment, I almost believe this place isn't so dangerous. Then Jupiter reminds me what it really is. Its gravity is about 2.5 times stronger than Earth's. It drags me down faster and faster. The air around me grows thicker. Hydrogen and helium press against my body. The winds become violent, faster than any hurricane on Earth. I can't control my fall anymore. Pressure keeps rising, Heat keeps building, my chest tightens, my body feels heavier with every second, and the worst part is there's no impact, no final landing, no solid surface waiting below, just deeper darkness, more pressure, more heat, until somewhere in that endless storm, I simply disappear. But the storms here are far beyond anything on Earth. Violent winds tear at me from every direction. The entire atmosphere feels like a giant blender. If I fall into something like the Great Red Spot, I'd lose all sense of direction instantly. Then, the light begins to disappear. Sunlight can't reach this deep. Everything fades into darkness. Only occasional flashes of lightning briefly illuminate the endless clouds around me. And then comes the real killer, pressure. At first, it feels like the air is squeezing me from all sides. But as I sink deeper, the gas becomes denser, thicker, until it almost feels like liquid wrapping around my body. The first things to fail are the air-filled spaces, my lungs, my sinuses, my ears. Then comes everything else, bones, organs, blood vessels. Layer by layer, the pressure crushes inward. At the same time, the temperature keeps rising, hotter and hotter, until I can't even tell anymore. Am I still falling, or am I being slowly swallowed by the planet itself? Storms, darkness, heat, and crushing pressure all take over at once. And in the end, there's nothing left of me to fight back. The real killer is the pressure. At first, it just feels like the air is squeezing me tight, but as I keep sinking, the gas grows denser, thicker, until it wraps around me like liquid. The first things to fail are the air-filled spaces, my lungs, my sinuses, my ears. Then everything else follows. Bones begin to crack, organs collapse, blood vessels rupture. The pressure keeps building, layer by layer, crushing me inward. At the same time, the heat rises, hotter and hotter, until I can't even tell anymore. Am I still falling, or am I being slowly swallowed by the planet? Before I ever reach anything like a surface, I'm already done. My bones shatter, my organs fail. Nothing remains. I won't die on Jupiter, because Jupiter doesn't have a surface. I disappear deep inside its endless atmosphere. Jupiter isn't a planet you land on, it's an abyss. And then comes something even more deceptive. From far away, it might be the most beautiful planet in the solar system, Saturn. Massive rings stretch out around it, bright, elegant, almost unreal, like a perfect piece of art. But that beauty is the danger. Those rings aren't soft bands of light. They're made of countless chunks of ice, rock, and dust, all racing around the planet at incredible speed. The moment I enter them, it's like flying straight into a silent storm of bullets. At first, tiny particles strike my body, like freezing sand scraping across my skin. But then, larger fragments hit, and in an instant, I lose the ability to move. At these speeds, even a small piece of ice is enough to destroy me. It doesn't have to be big. One impact, and my body starts to fail instantly. If it's larger, I won't even have time to fall. I'll be gone in a flash. And the strangest part? There's no sound, no explosions, no screams, just absolute silence. The vacuum swallows everything. If my blood is exposed, it loses stability almost instantly. My body is torn apart piece by these high-speed shards of ice and rock, until all that's left are fragments drifting through the rings. And even if I somehow avoid them and keep falling deeper into Saturn, the ending doesn't change. It becomes just like Jupiter, deeper, colder, heavier, until the entire planet slowly crushes me. That's what makes Saturn so terrifying. Not because it looks like a monster, but because it looks so beautiful and still destroys me completely. Further out, sunlight grows weaker, but the universe doesn't become kinder. It just kills in a quieter, colder way. Take the next stop, Uranus. Out here, everything feels distant, silent, and frozen. But don't let that calm fool you, because this cold can kill just as surely as fire. From a distance, it looks calm, a quiet, blue-green planet. But that calm doesn't mean gentle. It just means the cold here doesn't bother explaining itself. This is Uranus, one of the coldest planets in the solar system. Temperatures can drop to nearly minus 220 degrees Celsius. The moment I fall in, I don't even feel pain at first. It's like the heat inside my body is ripped away instantly. My face, my eyes, my lips, everything exposed begins to freeze. Then my breathing slows, then my thoughts, until even my consciousness starts to fade. The atmosphere here is mostly hydrogen and methane, no oxygen. Breathing it wouldn't save me. It would only end things faster. If I open my mouth, I'm not trying to survive. I'm surrendering to a cold, toxic gas, and it's not even peaceful. Violent winds tear through the atmosphere, dragging me deeper and deeper. First comes the freezing, then suffocation, and if I somehow stay conscious, the pressure keeps rising, slowly, relentlessly, crushing whatever is left of me, until nothing remains but silence and cold. The most terrifying thing about Uranus isn't how fast it kills me, it's how calm it looks while doing it. Silent, distant, blue-green, almost peaceful. But the moment I fall in, that peace disappears. There's no sound, no warmth, no comfort, only freezing darkness. I freeze first, then I start to lose awareness, slowly fading away in a world that feels completely empty. And then comes the final stop, Neptune. From space, it looks just as calm, a deep blue planet drifting in silence. But this isn't calm, it's chaos, hidden inside stillness. Neptune has the strongest winds in the solar system, over 2,000 kilometers per hour. The moment I enter, everything changes. I don't fall. I'm taken, thrown into a storm that never stops. No ground, no direction, no control, just endless motion. The planet itself becomes a storm machine, tossing me deeper and deeper into its atmosphere. And unlike Uranus, this isn't slow freezing. This is total loss of control. Wind, pressure, darkness, all at once. And in the end, there's nothing left to hold on to, just silence inside the farthest storm in the solar system. Neptune isn't just a storm. It feels like being thrown into a massive, out-of-control blender in space. The cold hits first, rapidly draining all heat from my body. Then oxygen disappears. My thoughts start to fade. And before I can even process what's happening, the wind arrives. Supersonic winds tear through everything, shaking me apart long before I lose consciousness. So Neptune's real danger isn't that it's far from the sun. It's that it destroys me so completely that I can't even understand how I fell. Everything becomes blue and dark and silent. And that brings us back to the beginning. Why does Earth feel like it was adjusted? Because after seeing the rest of the solar system, you realize something important. Life-friendly conditions are not the default. They are extremely rare. One variable off, the atmosphere fails, the pressure changes, life collapses, the temperature shifts, everything ends. It's not that other planets are a little wrong. It's that they were never designed with survival in mind. They offer no path for life. Only Earth happens to have everything aligned at once. Air we can breathe, water that stays liquid, temperature that doesn't destroy us. Not too hot, not too cold, not too violent. And maybe that's why it feels so unusual. Because in a universe that tries to end life in every direction, Earth is the one place that lets it exist. Temperatures that can melt metal, pressures strong enough to crush anything instantly. By 2025, NASA has confirmed over 6,000 exoplanets, yet we still can't find a single confirmed Earth-like world. Astronomer Fred Hoyle once compared life's emergence to a tornado sweeping through a junkyard and somehow assembling a Boeing 747. That's how improbable it feels, and maybe that's the real mystery. Earth isn't special because it's ordinary. It's special because in a solar system like this, so hostile, so extreme, it exists as the only place that feels normal. A rare exception in a universe that, everywhere else, seems designed against survival. See you in the next universe.